girl Cupcakke, and you're here at Radio 1.
Hey, welcome back to Radio 1 Chicago Weekend Game here, holding it down for Chi-Town right here on 88.7 FM. That was Fullness from our in-studio guest, Cupcakke.
What's up, y'all?
You can't, Alex has been like, I've been cheesing all day today, because you were coming in. So
Thank you.
I'm really excited about this.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for finding time to come down and visit us here on WLUW.
Yeah.
I know it's not always the best journey to come down here, but we appreciate it so much. You got the new album out, Ephorize, just dropped.
Ephorize, everywhere.
That's exciting.
I know, it's really exciting. I'm grateful.
You came off a huge 2016 with Cupcakke, right?
Was that 2016?
Yeah.
Oh, well, 2016, yeah.
So you've been have you been laying low, or you just been like just quietly working on the record?
No, I've been dropping project after project like back to back.
Yeah.
I just did Ephorize, and it's like I took like 4 or 5 months putting it together, and we are here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like to work fast as far as like producing music, or
basically I like to stay consistent. I feel like no one should get comfortable, you know.
That's good.
So.
That's a good plan. And I think far too often we see people find a little bit of success and then they just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
And then they try to come back and then there's like 3 of them.
Not me at all.
No, not at all. You are definitely filling your own lane and created your own lane. Let's talk. Your bio has been widely distributed and discussed. You come from a church background in the choir,
mm-hmm.
and then creating this persona of yourself
mm-hmm.
that we now know as Cupcakke.
Yeah.
Where did the name Cupcakke? Why'd you settle on that? Obviously, cupcakes are delicious, so I imagine it has something to do with that.
Basically, I feel like someone gave me the name, and it was just like, you're sweet, you're a nice girl, you're very sweet, like a cupcake, you should call yourself Cupcakke. And ever since then I like ran with it, and it just like ever since then I'm like, yo, what's up, it's Cupcakke, you know. Yeah.
No, I think it sounds so there's like an innocence to it, but there's also an adult, I won't say sexuality to it, but
yeah.
there's like so many different angles of how you can read into the name itself.
Definitely.
That I think that's why it's captivating. It's a really great name.
Yeah, like, you know, it's however people want to imagine it. People can imagine it like her vagina is sweet like a cupcake, or however they want to picture it, then that's it. We can run with that, you know?
Absolutely. So you've been recording music for like last 5-6 years.
Yeah,
either
since I was like
17 or 16, right?
No, since I was like
14, that's correct,
14.
right? Yeah.
And I've been doing poetry before that. When I was like, 12, 13 years old, I was just writing poetry. And one day I was always in a church as
mm-hmm.
a young girl, so it's just like everyone was basically like, I think you should just like turn your poetry into rapping and you'll make money that way. Even though no money was coming in at 14, 15, 16 years old.
Sure, no.
But I listened to them and I went with rapping, and ever since then I was just like, okay, I'm not going back. You know?
Exactly.
But I still do a little bit of poetry, but mm-hmm. I don't put it out really.
Yeah. Well, maybe a poetry book in the future.
Maybe. Never know.
Just throwing out some ideas. So I know you get this a lot, but how do you transition it from church choir, which a lot of people think is sort of this innocence, this pureness, into what we see today, which I love, and I'll get into why I love who you are. But like, how does someone sort of wrap their brain around like that transition?
Basically, I feel like, how can I say it? When I started rapping, it was like all clean rapping, not clean, but like, it was just like drill music.
Got it.
So,
which is not clean, by the way, but go ahead.
Right, exactly. That's why I had to take that back. Like, it ain't clean, but it's clean compared to what I'm doing now. Like it's like
it's 2 different worlds.
Right.
It's like Star Trek and Star Wars.
Basically. So I felt like one day I was at home at 17 and I'm like, I want to write my own freaky record. And then I had like my neck, my back in the headphones.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't hear no one doing this like right now. So why not doing it?
Yeah, exactly. And you were influenced by like the Kims, the Trinas, a lot of those.
Yeah, I definitely
artists.
listened to like Kim, Trina, like damn near every female rapper you can name back in
Yeah.
the past, I was listening to them.
And those were the ones who were kind of like the guiding light of what the possibilities are.
Yeah, definitely like Lil' Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing with and I don't like to, and I think that's sort of an easy comparison when people think of what you do.
Mhm.
But with Kim, I didn't really get a lot of insightful thoughtfulness besides sort of the sexuality she was projecting. With you, I see there's so many layers of what you're doing.
Mhm.
Because you talk about homelessness, you talk about pedophilia, you talk about the struggle, the grind, but you also talk about openly about your sexuality. So there's a lot of different layers, but I think people get easily captivated by just the sort of the bluntness.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like what they want to catch on to is what they want to hear. But like I say, I always do projects that's like very versatile. Like everything I try to do, I try not to stay on one topic. Like you said, pedophile. Like I don't hear no one speaking about that.
No, that's the first time I ever heard someone like really openly discuss that in a setting that was like was truthful, honest,
Yeah.
and a lot of. And I know that we're in this Me Too and Time's Up moment right now,
Mhm.
but before that came, you were already on top of that. Like
Yeah.
talking about like how young women are being there's predators out there, older men who are targeting young girls who are walking home from school or going to school.
Yeah, definitely. So pedophile, Ace Hardware, it talks about a female, getting abused by her father.
Mhm.
It's a lot of subjects I try to hit and a lot of topics I try to reach. But, I feel like the media only want to pick up on what they want to pick up,
Yeah.
It's like these big ass popular pages, excuse my language, but it's big popular pages that be like, I only see them post my sexual songs. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I just wish like media would pick up on everything else I'm doing because that's not just it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely. I know you're talking.
Yeah.
You're speaking to the choir. No problem. We're talking with Cupcakke. She's our live in studio guest here on Radio 1 Chicago. Let's get into another record. What do you want to get to?
Let's do Crayons. This record
Yes.
is big off Ephorize, so.
All right, keep it locked.
legit.
Keep it locked right here on 88.7 FM, WLUW, Radio 1 Chicago. Weekend Game, hold it down. Let's go.
This is my song. Yeah.
Hey, we're having a blast here on Radio 1 Chicago. That was from Cupcakke called Crayons. That was your favorite song?
Favorite song, and so far, looking at the streams, the biggest song. The biggest song on the album right now, so yeah.
When did you, I know like Cupcakke got you a lot of national notoriety, Complex, Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
A lot of those big publications like jumped on board and were following what you were doing and gave you a lot of accolades for the work you were doing. Was that the moment you felt like, damn, like I'm really like the work I'm doing has a really great impact, or did you feel really good about where you were at and what you were doing? Was that the moment, or was there something else that just sort of like stopped you, like, damn, like this is big?
I think Vagina. Like, it was just Vagina to me. That's the song that blew up, and that's the song that made me feel like, okay, this one I'm gonna go with. I don't know, it was just the sex in it, like the moans, everything that was put into Vagina is what made me feel like this is my image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were talking a little bit about like how some of the publications they focus more on the sexualized songs than the stuff where you're talking about a little bit more deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that bother you? Because I mean, it's like you're putting it out there, so it's not like they're
You know what? It bothers me a tad bit, but
because they key on that only.
yeah, only because of that. But at the end of the day, I realize that the media is gonna pick up what they want to pick up.
Sure.
You know, it's not like I can't bring it to people's doors and be like, can you listen to? No, I'm not gonna do that. You know, it's what they want to listen to, and that's what they choose to listen to. Does that mean I'm gonna stop? Doing records like Pedophile, Ace Hardware, and everything else?
Right.
Hell no, not at all.
No.
Because I do that for me. It's like a let out, it's a steam,
You independently release all these records, right? So you're not
Everything.
signed to anybody. You're doing it all on the indie DIY, do it yourself.
Yeah, everything is done by me.
You talked a little bit about I can't remember what record it is, but you were like, this idea that people I hear a lot too, independent artists, like, oh, do it for the love, do it for free, and you're like, nah, like we're past that.
You know, and
I love that about that, by the way, because I work with a lot of producers and they're like, yo, I'm no more free beats. So I love that attitude that we need artists of yourself and your caliber. You be like, no more free stuff. Like I'm past that.
Yeah, you know, and that's what it was. I had to realize, like my mom tell me, she always tell me, learn how to say no. And that's one thing about me, like I can barely, like I always say yes, yes, yes to everything. You could ask me anything, and I'll be like, yes, yes. And even though I don't want to say yes, I would still be like, sure, you know, yes. So my mom always told me, like, you know, learn how to say no. So now, speaking of that, like earlier today, I had to go off on the promoter, like, no, I'm not doing it for that amount. This is what I want, and come back to me when you have that. Like,
right.
You know, I feel like people love to walk over nice people. So
absolutely,
it's a way to be nice, but it's the way to still know your business and get your business and get your money. So like I said earlier today, promoters like all in my, you know, Gmail, yo, this the price I want you out here for. I'm like, hell no. Like, come back to me when you got the right price, basically.
Yeah. What about that business sense? Did you sort of acclimate on your own, or being around other business-minded people? Because I see a lot of people selling themselves very short because, like I said, they can't say no, or
Yeah.
They're like, well, it's exposure, so it's good, it's a good look, but they're always selling themselves a little bit short.
I definitely got the business sense from like my mom.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah, my mom definitely, like, that's my best friend. So it's like, and it's the only person I'm around, so that's the only one I can pick up things from.
Sure. Naturally.
So, you know, because being around promoters, like I say, if anything, you just don't, I hate to say it, but you're going to learn how to be shady. Like, that's what you're going to learn, is how to be shady. So, I just learned from the best, my mom.
Yeah, exactly. You're still very young. I think you're 21.
I'm 20.
20. So you're still very young. It feels like it's almost like the Lil Wayne. Like he's been around for so long, but he's only like 35. he's like transcended like 4 presidencies. So being so young in the game and still like learning, but you've been doing it for so long. Do you like what is your sort of outlook and view on the music industry itself? Are you a little bit jaded by it? Are you sort of still keep your distance of like not being too inclusive into like the industry and keeping your independence? Because it seems like you keep your circle small, so you're not being absorbed by all the attention.
Yeah, like I'm the type, I like to stay home. So I be at home, to be honest. Most of the times I'm at home. If you don't see me like doing a performance, I'm at home, to be honest. Like I'm not like this is where Marilyn Monroe, Cupcakke, and Elizabeth is 3 people in one. It's like an alter ego thing.
Right.
So, you know, Elizabeth is the humble one and, you know, like to stay home.
That's who we're talking to right now.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Cupcakke is like the let out, like sexual being, just wow on stage. Marilyn Monroe is strictly for the internet. So when you see me, like, I do like wow ass tweets.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 alter egos in one. So Elizabeth most likely loves to stay home.
Nice.
Not a party person, because Cupcakke gets all the partiness when she performs. So, you know. Yeah.
So you're about to hit the tour, the road for the album Ephorize. So you're doing 22 shows and 20 dates, right?
No, 22 dates, like, is what it takes up, but 20 shows, just back to back. Every day, new show.
So the February 21st date over at the Subterranean, that's already sold out, right?
Already sold out. It was like sold out. I was so surprised. It was sold out like damn near 30 minutes, if I could say, like, into it, like putting the tickets up.
What does that feel like?
It's amazing, especially you know what, especially coming from my hometown, Chicago. Like, it's very amazing because, you know, I'm gonna say this, and I'm just being honest. You get more love out the cities than your own city.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, you really do. Like, maybe because I go to the store and stuff like that, and people see me all the time in the store and stuff like that, so they probably be thinking, oh, we don't gotta go to her show because, you know, we could see her going to the store, walking down the street, blah, blah, blah. So that's why it was so shocking that Chicago, like, sold out first.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, you know, usually you don't get that much love in your own city. It's always like you're a star out of your city, you know.
Does that like I hear that a lot too? Just like when artists break, it might be another city or somewhere else that will break them, or at least give them a shot to get their music, and then it starts to bubble over. Then it's like, oh yeah, she's from the crib. I mean, does that feel fake, or like what is that like? I mean, but you can't like deny your city, but also you're like, you guys weren't really there when I was like really struggling and trying to get on.
Yeah, like I feel like New York, like I go to New York and that city is just like amazing. Like I go there and I could perform and everyone gonna show up. I put a ticket link out, it's gonna be sold out. Like everything about New York is just, it feels like home. Chicago is home too, but New York feels like home, and it's like, I don't know, but I definitely love Chicago. Chicago is where it's at.
I know. We're talking with Cupcakke here on Radio 1 Chicago on 88.7 FM WLUW. So if you didn't get your ticket to the February 21st date, you might want to go and check out our tour dates and go find your elsewhere. You're going to be all over the country and heading to UK for the first time.
First time. I'm so fucking excited.
Dump button, Alex.
Yeah, I'm so excited, y'all.
We're excited for you. We thank you so much for coming by. We love you. The records are amazing. The album is amazing. I'm so glad you dropped at the top of the year too.
Yes.
So it kicks off the year just on a right note. And
that's what I wanted to do, just because you never know, like Cupcakke, like you never know when I might drop another album. Like I said, I like to stay consistent. So I'm like, let me give this to them. I wanted Ephorize came out in October last year, but I was like, you know what? Let's do a fresh start. January is the right way to do it, because you never know.
I think that was a good move.
A couple months down the line, might be another album coming.
There you go. And also, I think it might get lost in the shuffle. There's like a lot of late releases in the year too, and I think that right at the beginning of the year, people tend to either stray away because they feel like no one's paying attention. But I think that was the right move.
Thank you so much.
Cupcakke, thank you so much for joining us here on Radio 1 Chicago. Please take us out. What's the last record we're gonna hear for tonight?
This one is called Total. It's about like love and like demanding your respect.
Yes, I did like this one a lot too. We didn't get into like relationship talk.
Yeah.
That's up for another discussion, I guess, when you get back from the UK.
That'd be great.
All right, so that's our time here on 88.7 FM. For Alex, I'm Weekend Game. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Radio 1 Chicago, and visit us at Radio 1 Chicago. We'll do it again next Thursday for the monthly hip hop cipher, and it kicks off at 6 p.m. on February 1st. So don't miss that. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll do it again right here on WLUW 88.7 FM.